Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to perform some basic due diligence, which basically means research and analysis on ASX stocks. I'm going to be using two ASX stocks that are pretty popular right now that you might be interested in, Afterpay and Zip, to perform this analysis. And I'm going to do it from scratch so you can just learn with me. I saw Kenjoe's video. He's another YouTuber, link in the description. He does really good videos. He basically showed this valuation method of enterprise value to sales and then using that to compare it to the company's growth rate and then seeing which company is fairly valued, undervalued, overvalued, which one is just trading on complete hype. It's a pretty nice, I like the valuation method, so I'm going to be basing it off his. And I saw a lot of people didn't know how to sort of make the spreadsheet and didn't really know how to find the actual inputs that he had. So I'm going to show you from scratch exactly how to do it, straight to the point. I know it's really hard as a newcomer to know how to do all these things. There's no guides really, and so hopefully you can use this video and you can literally just copy me and exactly in everything I do. So let's get straight into it. The first thing you want to do is you want to use a Google spreadsheet or an Excel sheet. I use Google Spreadsheet just because you can have some dynamic inputs in them, which can be very helpful, so you don't have to manually update it all the time. And so the first thing we'll do is actually name the spreadsheet. So we'll just go ASX and we're doing buy now, pay later stock analysis. And with that, let's do a nice little title because I'm OCD like that. And the very first thing I do, even if you're not going to share this document to anyone else, is just to remind yourself that all figures are assumed in AUD. And from there, we're going to just do our nice little table of the important information we want to know. So the first thing we want to do is actually know what company was or tickers we're looking at. Ticker just means it's a 3-letter code for the company that we can identify on a broker platform that you trade on. So the first thing is the company or ticker name. Then we probably want to know the price. We probably want to know total shares that the company has on issue. We want to know from that the market cap. We want to know how much debt they have, how much cash they have. What else we know? We want to know is probably the enterprise value. That's really important. Enterprise value is basically the market cap sort of plus the debt and minus the cash. Then we want to know the last 12 months of revenues. Then we want to sort of project out the next 3 years of revenues. So that's FY20 estimated, FY21 estimated, FY22 estimated, and then we want to, from that, get a 3-year sort of compounding annual growth rate. And then a nice little variables column that we're going to plug into. So that should be your basic sort of table that we're going to use for now. And so the first thing we're going to look at is what's the company name / ticker. We're looking at Afterpay. And if you don't know how to find these companies, it's, Afterpay is pretty popular actually, but I can do a video as well on how to actually find a lot of different companies. I probably look at 40 companies a day. And so a lot of people that I know in my personal life and online actually struggle to find companies, and it's relatively easy. So if you want me to do a whole video on that, let me know. If you don't know what the ticker is of a certain company, just type in the name of a company in stock, and it should just come up like this. And it's an ASX stock, and that's the ticker, APT. And so, it's APT. Okay, and so now we're going to try and find the price, the current share price of the stock. And this is how we're going to actually dynamically update the share price in our Google Sheet. And it's utilizing the power of Google Finance backend. And so we're going to equals Google Finance. And we're trading on ASX. The ticker is APT. And then we're looking for the price. If we do that, as you can see, we get an approximate share price that's probably within a 20-minute range that's updated in. It's not going to be real time because Google Finance is a free service, but it's relatively in real time. Then total number of shares. There's 2 ways of doing this. So the first thing we're going to do is I use a website called marketindex.com.au. It's a pretty good website just to see sort of basic information about stocks. And if you go on here and you just type in either the ticker, APT, or Afterpay, you should find it. And from here, you can scroll down and go to the statistics sort of area, and you see shares issue. Now, this is one way of seeing how many shares that are issued on the company, but usually this is relatively inaccurate. Now, for bigger companies, this is, it does quite well because bigger companies are more well known, but these are usually on any website, not just Market Index. If they show you how many shares are in issue, it's usually like computer generated and it's not actually looking through the updated filings of the company. And so I'm going to show you an actual way to get a very accurate reading on what the actual valuation is. Now, for bigger companies, like I said, this doesn't really matter. But when you're trading smaller companies, this might matter a lot because say you buy a company and you think the valuation is at $40 million and you buy into the company when it could be really worth already $70 million. That's almost 100% that you just sort of already just missed out on, or you think that you could get, but you can't already because it's already valued there. And so I'm going to show you right now how to actually find the approximate or the actual shares on issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the announcement section. This could be on anything, not just Market Index. It can be on your ComSec platform, your NAB trading platform, anywhere that shows announcements of a company. And quick sort of sidebar, what we're looking for are regulatory filings, and the one that shows how many shares are on issue usually before was called Appendix 3B. Now, this has recently changed in the past, I think 2 months. I'm not too sure, but this has changed recently. And so, we can see that Afterpay has issued a 2A recently, so that's the one we're looking for. But if a company hasn't issued shares recently, then you're going to have to look back and look for a 3B, because a 3B is what you're looking for previously. But now it's changed and it's weird. A bit confusing, but hopefully that makes sense. And I'll go through it right now so you understand it. And so we're looking for 2A. We click on 2A. Click on 2A here, and I'm going to save you an hour right now. To go straight to where they have how many shares are on issue, we'll just go Control F and we'll type in Part 5. There. Now it's right here. Quoted securities. Now we can see how many shares that are actually trading on the market. And right here, it's 267,887,801. What we'll do here, we'll just copy and paste this, and we'll start with our variable sections. We're going to start here, Afterpay's outstanding shares. And here, we've got fully paid ordinary shares that we just copied, this one. And it's about 267 million. We'll just put it here. Now, there's actually more shares. This is where the trick is. If you look at this, if you scroll down, there's a bunch of shares that aren't traded right now, but we should factor them in because they will be traded at a certain date. So here, these restricted stock units, we could probably do more research and go back, but these are likely to be traded at a later date. All these options, we can see they can be exercised on or before these dates. So that means they can be exercised right now. And so we should consider these shares as well. And so what you want to do is you want to look through all these and you want to add these all up together. Now, for the purpose of the video, I'm going to quickly skip so you don't have to see me counting all these up. Okay, so I added them all together. As you can see, I've done restricted stock units here. I added up all the sort of unquoted options that are on issue. And up here, all we want to do now is go sum, and we want to add these all up together. Now, before we even continue doing anything else, I recommend that you do some formatting. You create some custom formats. So over here, I've got millions, billions, and K. You don't have to do this. I just do this because it's more neater. If you want me to do a video about this, it's pretty simple. I'm a nerd about formatting, so we can fix that up in another video. But we just go format here, and we know that's millions. And I already formatted this to K, and this is already at millions. Okay, so we've got our Afterpay's outstanding shares here. And now we want to sort of just plug that in here. Boom. We have 279 million shares total. Now you can see this wasn't entirely accurate. This said, how much did this say? This said 267 million. And usually it's far more inaccurate for smaller stocks as well. So this is a good exercise to sort of practice. And you want to look at how many shares that are really, because it could mean the difference between your investment actually growing rather than it sort of stagnating or falling because you're investing at such a higher valuation than you previously thought. Okay, so to find the market cap, all we want to do is just times the price by the total number of shares. And you can see $14.5 billion. That's the current fully diluted market cap of Afterpay. Next, we want to find debt. Usually you'll find debt if you go to the announcements, and to make it just a bit quicker, maybe price sensitive only. Price sensitive only means only announcements from the company that are material to the company's sort of financial accounting and balance. And we want to probably look at the latest business update. I'm doing this all in real time with you guys, so I can show you how I find them. And so I like to just go Control F, and we go debt. And look, we have it right here, and this is pretty updated as well. 355.7 million. And so I'm just going to put in here 355, 700, and that's the debt. Cash, it's probably here as well. I mean, oh, it's right here. Total cash, 541 million. So we can just grab that and also put that here. And now the enterprise value, like I said previously, it's sort of the market cap plus the debt minus cash. What we want to do here actually is put this in brackets and go minus cash. And it should show that Afterpay is currently, its enterprise value is 14.31 billion. Okay, so to find the last 12 months of revenue, we're kind of stuck in a weird period right now. We are just midway of this year, and companies have recently sort of released their first half of 20 earnings report. And so that gives us the last 6 months, but we want the last 12 months. But if we go before that, they don't do a second half of 2019 presentation. They do a full year, which includes the previous half before that as well. Bear with me. And so the way we're going to find the last 12 months is we're going to get the first half of 20 earnings result, and we're going to add that with the full year minus the half year of the previous year. Stick with me. And so the way you find that is, again, you just go through the announcements. I usually look at the presentation instead of the actual hard copy paper announcement because it's a bit nicer and easier to find. So here's the first half for Afterpay. And if we keep going back, there's the full year. And if we keep going back, where was it again? Here's the first. That's the first half of 2019 financial year. And so first thing we look at is the revenue for 2020, the first half, and we can sort of put this in the variables here. Afterpay's LTM revenue and first half 20. We also want full year 19 and first half 19. And so Afterpay was 212 million, 0.2. Missing a zero there. And then the full year we see was 251.6. And then I think if we just go back to actually the 2020, we can see the first half of FY19 already here as well. So you don't have to go to the other one anyway, which is 103. And so the last 12 months revenue should be what Afterpay made in the last 6 months plus what Afterpay made in the full entirety of 2019 minus in the first half of what it's made in 2019, the financial year. And we get 360 million. Now, you know me, I like formatting, so I'm going to format this real quick to millions. And there we have it. There's the last 12 months of Afterpay's revenue. So we're going to quickly go here and just input that. Now, to forward project and estimate the next 3 years of revenue, this is hard. This is going to be different for everyone. Every single different individual, fund, any type of financial institution that claims that they can predict, they're usually wrong. Some of them are right. It doesn't matter. You're going to get different numbers for this. So for the purposes of this video with Afterpay, I'm going to show you how to find a different sort of a different perspective, find reports by institutions that can that have done the work and have accounted hundreds of variables as to why they think Afterpay will make that much in these certain years. And then for Zip, I will go through how we can just make up our own, and it won't be accurate whatsoever, but it's worth a shot. And so for Afterpay, what I like to do, ComSec is a pretty good platform because it provides some reports. And on ComSec already, if we go recommendations, Goldman Sachs, which is like a huge investment bank, they've already done a report relatively recently on Afterpay, and we can just download that entire report. And we can see right here what they think for the next 3 years Afterpay is going to do. They think Afterpay in 2020, in the financial year, is going to do 427 million and 574 in the next year, and then $1 billion in revenue in 2022. And so we can literally just take that. So in 2020, we'll put our parameters here again. So we'll do like Afterpay 3-year forecast. And we're looking for sort of FY 20, 21, 22. And then we'll look at the results again. I've got too many tabs open now. You'll find you'll do this often. 427.4 million. Do 574.7. And then we've got $1 billion and 23. Put this here. Boom. And as you always know, let's format this. So these are millions. This one's the big B. This one is a billion. Okay. So we've got the 3 forecasts here. Let's plug each of those in. Okay, sweet. Now we have our sort of forecast here. We can calculate the 3-year compounding annual growth rate. Just means what the average growth rate is that we can expect from Afterpay. This is how big it's going to grow every year over this sort of period. And the way we do that, there's a lot of different ways you can sort of calculate this. I like just doing the way I know, which is like the simple formula. We're sort of getting this, future value, and we're dividing it by the present value. And then we to the power of 1 divided by the number of years that we're projecting, which is 3, and then we're just minusing 1. We do that, we click that, and we format that to percentage, and there we go. Afterpay over the next 3 years is going to grow on average about 42%, which is pretty good according to these revenue figures. And so that's it. That's Afterpay done, right? Pretty simple, pretty easy. We still haven't, this is basically us. We haven't really done the analysis part yet so much. We've done the research and we've put our inputs and parameters. We're going to do the same thing for Zip, but it'll be a bit different this time because to find some of these inputs is actually different for different companies, and it's a bit hard. You have to think outside the box a bit. And so it's a good thing that I think we're looking at Zip as well. So you become a master at this. And so you don't need to look at someone else's YouTube video all the time to try and do this. So for Zip, it's just called Zip. And the ticker is Z1P. For this price, we can just copy and paste this, go into that, and just change the ticker, which is Zip. Total shares in issue. Remember, we're going to go into sort of a stock information website. Market Index is my personal favorite for ASX. We're going to look up Zip. We're on Zip's page. We're going to go down to announcements and look at the latest 2A. We look at this 3B because that's what it was before, but this is the new 3B. We don't want to look at that. We want to look at the latest 2A, which they haven't had one in the last few months, which means we're going to have to look for a 3B, which is here. This is the last time they issued shares using this format. I know it sounds a bit confusing. It's just how ASX has recently changed. Bear with me. So we're going to 3B, and you're just going to go down, go down, go down until you find this number in class of all securities quoted on the ASX, about 390 million. And then we're also going to put all these ones that are not quoted on the ASX. So you can see like 20 million shares here, 2 million, 2 million. There's a bunch of these. It takes a while. I'll skip this part and show you what it looks like after I've put it in that spreadsheet. Okay, so we're actually not done yet. This is actually some good practice, and it's a good thing I'm showing you Zip as well, because in the event a company has raised money recently and they still haven't issued those shares, you have to account for those shares because they will be on market soon enough. And in this case, if you just did the normal sort of procedure to find out how many shares I had and you saw I had 437 million, that's actually very, very wrong. And you're going to get a very different market cap to what it actually will be in the future. And so this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to go look at Zip's announcement, and they recently had a capital raise, which if you raise capital, you're going to dilute the shareholding, and you get by issuing more shares. And also, when you acquire a new company, especially in Zip's case, they actually bought the company in shares only. So they didn't pay money. They did it in what they call scrip. And so they issued more shares there. I'm actually going to look at the presentation because, once again, presentation is all nice and it shows a lot in it. So we're going to go down. We're going to look for basically where they explain the terms of the deal. Let's see. Okay, sweet. Okay, so for the investment side, they raised $200 million, and they issued convertible notes and they issued warrants. This is the convertible notes average price, and this is the average price of the warrants. Now we're going to have to do a bit more research because we don't know of which proportion that they raised at. We don't know if it's $150 million of con notes, or if it's $70 million of con notes. So we're just going to keep scrolling down, look for anything about sort of the capital raising. Nothing yet. Okay, the SIG investment. Okay, this is probably it. Okay, we have it right here. So they raised $100 million in con notes and up to $100 million in warrants. Sweet, awesome. So what we want to do is we'll go back here, and basically we want to add this. So we'll go here. Actually, we'll set this up. So, by the way, this is the previous warrants. This is not the new warrants. Okay, so what we want to do is just do June con notes, because that's what I'll call it. They're issued, or they're going to be issued in June. And we'll do price and value. Put that like that. And we see that the price of the convertible notes is 553281. So here, 552381. And the value we already know is $100 million. And so the con notes would just be $100 million divided by the price to see how many shares is going to be converted. And it's about 18 million shares. I like to format, so let's do that really quickly. So that's for the con notes. And then we have also the warrants, which will do the same thing. We know that's 100 million as well. And if we look at the price is at 51639. 51639. And we can just do the same thing we did here. And it's about 19 million shares that are going to be converted. Okay, so that's the fundraising. But now we have to look at the acquisition of QuadPay, which is the company they bought. Oops, spelled it wrong. We don't like spelling errors. Okay, so if we look at sort of the QuadPay acquisition, they probably don't say how many shares they issued. So let's go back up. Are we at the top? Yeah, we are. They say they bought it for $403 million. Doesn't say how many shares they issued. If we look at transaction overview, they say they bought it $403 million again. They acquired 100% of the company. And they say sort of here in the footnotes that it was based on $3.39, but it doesn't include like all these other shares. So they basically didn't buy for $400 million. It's probably for more because there's more shares that they're issuing. Okay, so at this point, I've sort of given up. They probably, let's see what else they announced with this announcement. That would probably explain the acquisition. And they, on the same day, they also issued a 3B. So let's look at this 3B. And generally, because I know 3Bs, so let's skip to the good stuff. You're not going to see anything until sort of part 7. So if we scroll down, that's usually where they show new issuance of shares. Ooh, a lot of paperwork. It's really annoying sometimes. Okay, we're at 7. Let's see. In connection with the QuadPay acquisition, they're going to be issuing 118 million shares, another 30 million ordinary shares that are deferred for now, and another 12 million options. Let's add all these in. I'm just going to skip until I add all these in. Okay, I've added all these in. enter. It's about 160 million shares that they are actually issuing on top of that. So now the actual outstanding shares of Zip is actually 635 million. That's a huge difference. I'll show you why it's a huge difference. Say before it was about 430 million, I think it was, that the website said. And if we got the market cap of Zip using 430 million, it says Zip's valued about 2.71 billion. Now you're looking at that and you're like, whoa, Zip is pretty cheap. However, come on, let's use the real valuation of Zip, adding into account that they just bought a company using shares and they raised a lot of money. Turns out that Zip is actually at the current price worth $4 billion. That's a huge jump. That's more than $1 billion in value. So this is why it's important to do this. And I'm glad that if you watch this, you now know how to do this for most of the time. Sometimes it'll be tricky like Zip. You're going to have to do all this, go through all this paperwork, but that's the work you need to put into. All right, now for debt, same thing we want to do, like sort of Afterpay. We want to look at only price-sensitive sort of announcements. Let's see if it's in the trading update. Just debt, click debt. Net debts, no, that's to do with the actual payment system. They don't have it in here. It probably won't be in the cap raise. If it's not in the May one, it probably won't be in the April one. It might be in the quarterly update. That could be it. Is there anything to do with debts here? No. Debts. Oh, is this it? Capital management. This is it. This is how much sort of debt they have, or how much funding that they're drawing out from their facilities. Now, currently drawn is about $1.043 billion. Woo, that's a lot. So we're just going to put that in. 1043. And I don't like that in millions. I like that in billions. Sweet. So they have about $1 billion in debt. And now just a quick side note, if we just quickly look at this update, it says that the facility limit is about 1.1 billion and they've used up a lot of it and it's almost at capacity. So that's just something to note. It's not that that's such a bad thing because this type of debt is not really the bad debt. Like all this debt is to fund the operations of the payment platform or the process the payment platform. So this debt's, it's not really that much big of a deal, but you sort of want them to be able to have a bit of leeway in the facilities so they can have room to breathe and fund future growth. And so we've got the debt. Where will they have cash? Now let's look at cash. We know that they already raised 200 million, so we can add that in. But also, they probably had some cash already. It's not in here. Okay, to find out how much cash they have, we're going to look through here and look through price sensitive, because remember, price sensitive means material updates relating to cash and revenues and anything that's material to the business. And so we're going to look at the latest. Usually cash is stated in earning reports or sort of like full year reports or half year reports. So we're going to look at the latest half year report, Appendix 4D. And we're going to scroll down here. We're going to go through, get through all the fluff. It usually won't be at the start. You're going to have to dig through until you get to sort of like the balance sheet. Usually where you start seeing cash flow statements, that's usually when you'll see like right here, like profit and loss statements. So it should be somewhere here. Yeah, financial position and cash equivalents, 39 million. So 39.12 million. So we'll put that here, 39.12 million. But then also they actually also just raised 200 million, as we know, so they're going to have a much better sort of cash position. And so they have about $240 million in cash. Okay, then just to get the enterprise value of Zip, we can just copy and paste the formula that we did before. Okay, now we have to get the last 12 months revenue for Zip. So I've already got up sort of the financial year of 20, the first half, how much they did, and then the full year for Zip of 2019 financial year. If we scroll down, we'll see it here, 84 million. And then we're also going to want to look at the first half of 19. If we just go back a bit, which is here as well. Okay, sweet. And we're going to do the exact same thing we sort of just did here, last 12 months revenue, but just make it Zip. And so let's get the first half of 20, which is 69.6 million. The financial year of 19, which is 84 million. And then the first half of 2019, which is 34.2. Okay, sweet. So we know that Zip did 119 million in the last 12 months. Cool. Now, look, there's not a lot of reports on Zip that are public. Also, ComSec doesn't have a report on Zip as well, and it's going to be kind of hard to find a report on Zip publicly. There are some out there, but we won't do that for now. We'll actually just try and make our own, because I think that'd be a bit more fun and interesting. And it's, these numbers are not going to be accurate whatsoever, but it's fun to just make your own and see what we can do. Okay, now with this, we can work some magic. We know the last 12 months, we did about 120. Okay, so we know in financial year of 20, they're going to be doing about, let's see, in that latest presentation, they said annualized about 250 million. So let's just put that in. By the way, this is still estimated. This isn't like, exactly what's going to happen. Hey everyone, I should explain something really quickly. The last 12 months of revenue is actually closely aligned with the financial year 20 estimated revenue, but you might be a bit confused because why is there such a discrepancy between the 120 million figure for Zip for the last 12 months and the financial year of 20 estimate of 250? Basically, I'm accounting in QuadPay's annualized revenue along with Zip Pay. I think it's valid to do that because that's now we want to assess our growth rates based off Zip. But yeah, it's not entirely accurate, but this will have to do for now. And so to just get an idea of how much they have been going in the past, because we don't really have an indication of the future, they have been going pretty. If we look in, in financial year of 18, they did 40, and then in financial year of 19, they did 84. So they basically doubled. We can't expect them to double forever, so let's just do something really arbitrage for the sake of this, the time of the length of this video. Let's say they slow down growth to about 35% for 21. And then let's say they slow it down to about 30% again. Which really means that they will have a compounding annual growth rate of 54% over the next 3 years. Okay, now we can actually perform some proper peer analysis. We're getting to the end of all this. We're going to want to just write EV to sales. That's what we're looking at. That's the valuation method we're looking at, pretty popular for growth stocks. And we're going to look at the company name, and we're going to want the last 12 months. And we're going to want the rest of these that we can just copy and paste over. And then over here, we're looking at EV sales to growth. We're going to compare it to the company's individual growth rate. And we're looking at the same sort of metrics here. Okay, and let's get the companies real quick. Okay, so for Afterpay, all we want to do is get the enterprise value. We want to divide it by the revenue. And we can just copy that. Actually, what you want to do first, this is going to remain static, the enterprise value. So we're just going to put a dollar sign in front of it so it stays like that. And we can just copy and paste it. Over here, for EV sales to growth, all we're going to do is grab the EV to sales, and we're going to, let's put it in brackets first. We're going to divide it by this, make this static, the compounding annual growth rate that we have for the company, which is just M4 for me. And then we're going to divide it by 100. And we're going to copy that over. Now, pretty easy for us. All we have to do is copy that down, copy this, and copy it over. And then for here, we just want to copy and paste this, paste that, and we're good to go. Okay, so you know me, I like to round these up, make it look all good, not currency, my bad. Okay, now that we've completely just finished all the spreadsheet and all the work, we can now finally analyze. So what does all this information tell us? Well, this information tells us that Afterpay is currently at $14.3 billion enterprise value, and Zip is currently at 4.8. The last 12, the revenues are, Zip is about half of Afterpay's revenues over the next few years. But Zip is going faster, but that's just because it's, fairly smaller. It's fairly easier to, grow as fast. And so what we can see, they're trading at very similar sort of hype, if you should say, both at 40x sort of last 12 month sales. And in the future by 2022, both roughly the same again. According to the growth, though, it seems like Zip is currently at a bit of a discount. If you want to play around with this and just go let's say Zip was at $8. At $8 now it's sort of catching up. Now it's sort of catching up to Zip. So this could show that maybe it's a bit undervalued at the moment. So let's put that back. I just would like to mention as well, really quickly, that we did use very conservative growth rates for Zip, and so the fact that it looks a bit undervalued at the current price or compared to Afterpay, it probably means it's pretty trading a bit of a discount. So I'm going to have more of a good look into Zip. Obviously, you want to do more due diligence before you make an investment decision. More than just this. This is just like a good starting point, I guess. But yeah, Zip looks pretty good compared to Afterpay. Now, in saying that, I have bought Afterpay, and I'm going to show you how I picked the absolute bottom in Afterpay. And it's a pretty simple trick. It sounds like some infomercial right now, but you don't have to subscribe. You don't have to, click on some link. I'm going to show you right now very quickly. But first of all, I'll prove that I bought it at the bottom. Okay, so I'm on my transactions page, my portfolio. I've obviously blurred out and blacked out sensitive information, but as you can see, I bought Afterpay at 82 and at 86, $8.6 and $8.2. And just so you know, it's not fake, I'm going to literally download the contract on ComSec, and it's downloaded. I'm going to click on, this is a newly generated file. I'm going to click on it. It's loaded. And as you can see, I bought it at 8.2. I go back here. I click on this. It's going to download it. And as you can see, at 8.6 again. Now I'm going to show you how I bought this. If you go on TradingView or any type of charting platform, it's what I use TradingView personally. As you can see, TradingView, I use a strategy called Bollinger and Keltner. It's basically indicators that you can get for free. And on the monthly chart, the Bollinger was being touched, the lower Bollinger. And usually what that means, that's a very strong sort of bottom range or like bottom support. And yeah, I bought it because it's never touched there before. And, across the entire history of Afterpay's trading, if it was going to end anywhere, it would be there. And also I use this little support thing here. If you want me to do more technical analysis videos, I can show you. But that's the reason why I bought it like pretty much at the bottom. And so my average price, is about 84. And so let's bring that back down. And so at the highs, this is about a 500% in 3 months, which is absolutely insane. So if you want to know more if you want more technical analysis videos and want me to actually talk more about my trades, let me know in the comments and, subscribe so you actually get the videos updated. So thank you for watching. Hopefully it helped you. If it did help you, if you want, you can subscribe and I'll keep sort of making these videos. Hopefully they help you and push you to the right direction. I'm not always going to be right. I'm still learning myself, but hopefully we can all learn together. And yeah, let me know in the comments below, if something I got wrong and is completely, you can just make fun of me, or if it's something that helped you and you think you can help others, or if you want to know something else that I might be able to help you with, let me know. And just let me know if you want me to keep making these videos where it's less like commercial, it's less like 9-minute video just talking and not showing. I want to actually show you guys how to do particular things. And, exactly, just skipping the BS and getting straight to it because, I wasted probably a good 2 years just trying to learn on my own and reading a lot. And it's very hard that way. So you can literally just like skip through all of it and for free, just, watch me just do it. Also, if you have any personal questions, I will probably answer very quickly on maybe, I don't really use it, but Instagram. It's just at Ishan Huck. I'll put it on the screen. If you message me, DM me on there, I'll probably respond instantly. Otherwise, you can leave a comment here. But other than that, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.